Good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Neal, and I've had a chance to meet a number of you. I'm the new city manager. I'm slowly losing the new part and just being city manager, but this is my first time to host this evening's event. I'm looking forward to it, the 32nd Annual Volunteer Recognition Banquet. And so I hope that you'll forgive me if I break a little protocol or mispronounce a name or two. It won't take me too many years to get that right, but I'll do my best. I want to introduce the members of my city council that are here tonight. First and foremost, I want to introduce Mayor Jim Hovland. Mayor Jim Hovland. Councilmember Joni Bennett. Joni. Councilmember Josh Sprague. Josh. And I think I saw, is Mary Brindle here? Councilmember Brindle? Councilmember Brindle? And I don't believe that Councilmember Swenson was able to make it tonight, but we want to recognize her as well. Well, I was told that we have a lot of people to recognize tonight, and you're not here to listen to me. So I'd like to begin our presentations tonight and recognitions tonight with our Edina Art Center, and I would like to call up Bill McCabe. Mr. McCabe.
I'm here to honor Heather Randall King, who has been active in the Edina Art Center for almost 20 years as a member and as past chair of the Art Center's Board of Directors. Heather was and still is devoted to enhancing our community through the arts. She has initiated fundraisers, hosted exhibition openings, chaired our juried show, worked with the Greer Garden, Ways and Means, and Film Festival committees. She organized the Taste of Creativity last November, and she has participated in many other events. She's been a key motivator and organizer for us. She believes in our mission to provide facilities, programs, and services for residents of Edina and neighbors to participate in, educate, and enjoy the arts. Heather is a freelance journalist specializing in culinary and business writing, a graduate of Macalester College. She did graduate work at Lake Forest College, at Cordon Bleu School of Cooking in London, and other culinary institutes in the United States. She was a columnist and staff writer for Taste, and has been a copywriter and editor for dozens of cookbooks for profit and nonprofit organizations. 2 of those books won national awards, and she was also copywriter and editor for the 2 Byerly's cookbooks. Heather has served as a board member for the American Women's Club in London, AAUW, American Red Cross in Denver, and here, WAMSO, Friends of the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, Concordia Language Villages, Junior League, Edina Newcomers, Edina Federated Women's Club, where she's a past president, and she's also active in Minneapolis Women's Rotary and the Women's Club of Minneapolis. She's been a resident of Edina since 1968. We look forward to our continued work together, and we offer a grateful thank you to Heather Randall King.
Thank you, Bill. I'm humbled and I'm honored. I should be giving this award back to the Edina Art Center. 3 generations of my family have had their lives enhanced by classes, volunteer work, and friendships. This award is tangible evidence that one need not be artistic to enjoy and appreciate the cultural hub of our community. I share this with all the Art Center volunteers, past and present, who don't just show up to meetings, they show up and they serve year-round. Included is our visionary Public Arts Committee, who beautify our surroundings and inspire our residents and our visitors. In context of effort and hours, special applause to Jim Van Valkenburg, and I don't know if he's here tonight, who led our board for many years. His meetings were short, his hours of dedication were long. Thanks to Mayor Hovland and the City Council for ongoing support and responsiveness. We see you at our openings, we see you at our celebrations, and we are grateful for your presence. Special thanks to John Keprios, fantastic Park and Rec Director. We rely on his thoughtful, inspiring approach to leadership. He never lets us down. And thanks, of course, to the creative, energetic Arts Center staff and the talented instructors. Because of their skills and welcoming demeanor, people drive from all over Minnesota and other states to attend our classes and share the joy of art in many forms. We have two exciting upcoming events this fall. The 27th annual juried show in September, chaired by Renee Usum, and our first ever Edina Film Festival in October, chaired by John Swan. What happens when people of all ages like you volunteer? We have a community like ours, tops in the nation. Thank you.
One of the important skill sets of being a city manager is being able to take direction. And I got some stage direction from the mayor as we were listening to that presentation. So I want to, when I call the next people up, I'm going to call somebody up to be on deck to kind of queue up over here. And so the next group I want to recognize is Ari Larson-Manti. And you get the podium, and then it looks like Jennifer is on deck. So, Ari. Thank you.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here again this year and present our Volunteer of the Year Award. At our annual meeting on May 25th, we'll give many awards out at the Chamber of Commerce. This one, however, is unique. It is the only award where the staff of the Chamber select our Member of the Year because he does a lot of stuff, in this case, for us. Mike Sitek joined us with Handyman Manners just about a year ago and really has helped us off with a wonderful golf tournament attitude. In fact, I think riding in the cart pretty much all over the course that day with anything we needed. And then he stepped up to the plate at our Emerald Gala in February and helped my husband and another volunteer hang banners at Interlochen Country Club from ceiling to floor. That's why he's here. The other reason he's here is I'm holding up a hook. If you need this tonight, let me know. I'll let you borrow the hook. He brought about 24 of these to assist us next year in hanging our banners, this time at Edina Country Club. Mike Sitek, who will get his award in May, but please, Mike, thank you very much.
I've been a resident of Edina since 1961 with a few years off for living in Texas and Australia and a couple other places. And this was my first experience this year with the Chamber, and it's been just great. Not just for me personally, but for my business. So I really appreciate it, and thanks to everybody at the Chamber.
Next, I want to recognize the director of the city's Communications and Marketing Department, Jennifer Benarat, and her group of folks from Explorers Post 3411, and she'll have the next one after that too, Jennifer.
Good evening. Edina Communications Explorers Post 3411 was chartered just in October with 14 students from 4 area high schools. Exploring is the national program of Learning for Life organized locally by the Northern Star Council. The Communications Explorers Post is for young people ages 15 to 20 who are interested in one day pursuing a career in the communications field. Exploring's purpose is to provide experiences to help young people mature and to prepare them to become responsible and caring adults. The program includes activities that help youth pursue their special interests, grow, and develop as leaders. I'm proud to say that the City of Edina's Communications and Marketing Department serves as their advisors. Claire Anderson of Benilde St. Margaret High School, William Kenny of Totino Grace High School, and J.D. Loyal of Edina High School have emerged as early leaders in the Post, not only attending our meetings, but volunteering in the community and assisting the Communications and Marketing Department with its various projects. As of late, members of the Post have also become stars on Edina Community Channel 16, volunteering as actors in various public service announcements and promotional videos. If any of you saw the promotional video for Tuesday's anti-bullying forum, you might recall that Will was slushied by a bully in that commercial. For being good sports, community volunteers, and demonstrating leadership skills, Claire Anderson, Will Kenny, and J.D. Loyal are Communications Explorer Post 3411's Volunteers of the Year. Congratulations. While they're in communications, they have declined the opportunity to speak. The next award I'm here to present is on behalf of Edina Community Channel 16. Edina 16 is a government access channel available to Comcast subscribers in Edina. The city's Communications and Marketing Department, which administers the channel, is responsible for broadcasting government meetings, news and talk shows, and a minimum of 2 public service announcements per month. As I mentioned in my last presentation, our staff relies on volunteer actors and talents for many of our projects. Residents' homes and businesses have been the sets for some of our pieces. Dozens of volunteers have provided their voiceover talents or starred as actors in our various productions, playing such roles as bickering neighbors, loyal basketball fans, and wine connoisseurs. Mike Opitz is the star of our most watched and downloaded video on our YouTube channel, a commercial for the Braemar Golf Dome. He stars as Fred in that commercial. He has volunteered his time for a number of our other projects, including a PSA in which he appeared in a bathtub and allowed his fictitious wife to dump lawn clippings on him. On behalf of the City of Edina and viewers of our programming, I present our Oscar equivalent, the 2011 Denny Award, named in honor of our first cable coordinator, Scott Denfeld, to Mike Opitz. Please join me in thanking and congratulating him.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thanks to the city. First of all, the YouTubes, most of it's my family. And second of all, when Jennifer asked me to do this, she said the city came to her and said, we're kind of looking for somebody that's colorful, wears a lot of colorful clothing, is kind of a geek. And she says, Mike Opitz, so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Next up, I want to introduce Dick Crockett from the Edina Foundation. Dick. That's okay.
Well, I hope you're ready for some surprises that involve many of you. First one is actually a surprise to me. I didn't realize when I planned to come tonight that I'd get to recognize last year's volunteer award from the Community Foundation who couldn't make it. The citation for Paul Thompson, the one-man band who heads up Cool Planet, was read last year. So I'm not going to read it again, and Paul's not going to have a chance to come up here and express his appreciation, but I do want to recognize him. He was right there. Paul, thank you from last year. I think this was his 31st year of skiing the Birkebeiner in northern Wisconsin, so he's a very fit person, and he uses that fitness for the benefit of the community. I've been doing this for 8 years and have come away with an increasing awareness of how many organizations in this room actually support and cooperate or collaborate with the Edina Community Foundation. So what I want to do this year is recognize and thank those organizations and their leaders for their role in supporting our mission of strengthening the Edina community. I'm going to start with the groups and organizations that co-sponsor one of our key programs. I might mention the Edina Chamber of Commerce. And as I mentioned the organization, with those of you here from that organization, raise your hand so we can see where you are. So there's Edina Chamber of Commerce, a co-sponsor with our Connecting with Kids program. We have the Edina Energy Environment Commission, Paul and Diane for two, who about a year and a half ago co-sponsored an Edina Dialogue on our clean energy future. We have the Edina Federated Women's Club and the Southdale Y, and I want to add the Edina Resource Center in here, who are co-sponsors with a great program we have, hands? Great program we have lined up for October on Head, Heart, and Hope, a health and wellness expo. We have the Edina Human Rights and Relations Commission, which is coming off a very successful Edina Dialogue program on reflections on bullying that was just this week on Tuesday night. The Edina Senior Center is here, hands, which is one of the co-sponsors of an Edina Reads program, including a very successful one in the middle of March with Dr. John Ajarian speaking on transplant. They had some constituents at the Senior Center who were really interested in that program. And that program is joined in by the Edina Library and Friends of the Edina Library to help us put on roughly 5 of these Edina Reads programs in a year. And finally, in this category of organizational co-sponsors, I want to mention Fairview Southdale Hospital, which is here, over there. They are very generous sponsors, commercial sponsors of several events. The July 4th Edina Parade and Fireworks Exhibition, a Torchlight Concert every year in Centennial Lakes Park on an early Sunday in August, and finally this Health and Wellness Expo coming up in October. The second group of organizations here that I want to recognize are those that have established a designated fund with us, so they allow the foundation to serve as their charitable giving partner. And part of the responsibility of establishing a fund is that they go out and raise monies for this fund so that we then have money to grant out to programs that they support. One of those is Jennifer's Channel 16 that you just heard from. City of Edina folks, where'd you go to? Over here in the corner. They use their fund money to purchase equipment for Channel 16. The Energy Environment Commission used a designated fund to raise money to send, coincidentally, Paul Thompson to the Copenhagen Climate Conference a year ago, December. Edina Garden Council, I saw over here, and they're regular contributors to a designated fund we have for improvements in Arneson Acres, including the great fountain improvement that took place just 3 years ago. The Edina Public Art Committee is here, someplace over there. We have a designated fund that helps them rent sculptures for the Promenade in Grandview Square and occasionally purchase a sculpture through this designated fund. We have the Edina Senior Center again, which has a designated fund that they use to purchase art for the facility and fund their annual volunteer recognition and anything else they want to do to make it a better program for seniors. And then I have some special representatives I invited tonight to reflect some of the newer organizations that we've supported with designated fund. Doug Watson is here from the Edina Youth Juggling Association, which is a parent support group for this great activity that is both a sport and an art, and for some kids, a lifesaver. Our newest fund is represented by Catherine Riali, who's the treasurer of the Edina High School Senior Class Party Committee. That's a great event. I guess it's been going on for 61 years, but it has gotten bigger every year. It's a wonderful event to bring parents in the community and their graduating seniors together and keep them safe and have a great celebration of their final day of school in Edina. Paul Thompson, I might mention, is also the representative of Cool Planet, which is another one of our designated funds. And we have here tonight Carolyn Schrader, coincidentally our board chair, who in effect represents the Country Club Neighborhood Association, which is one of our longest standing designated fund. Be patient with me, it's just a couple more minutes, but you all pretty much are involved here. There's another category of organizations that have simply received grant funds from us. So we appreciate the opportunity to have these groups carry out programs that we can support with resources in the community. I think the Edina Crime Prevention Fund is represented here, back there. We've given money from the community to support their K-9 project. The Edina Historical Society, over there in the corner, benefited from an oral history project grant we made a few years ago. The Edina Morningside Rotary Club has received support for their Edina Bike Parade from the Community Foundation. Southdale YMCA, and I want to add the Edina Resource Center, have benefited from a series of grants to support their Summer of Opportunity program that helps young people who can't otherwise afford it go to a summer camp. And finally, there's an organization I just want to mention, the League Heirs, that received a $500 check from Carolyn Schrader as our board chair at their annual community concert just Tuesday of this week. The very last category is a quick one. It's people not otherwise mentioned here who've made contributions to the foundation. And that includes, in a group, the Edina Kiwanis Golden K Club, the Lions Club, and the Rotary Club of Edina. Where are you? Scattered around. Who all made significant contributions to a project we had to improve this Edina Senior Center kitchen a few years ago. And finally, the Morningside Rotary Club again here is an annual contributor to our General Community Support Fund. If I haven't named your organization or you haven't raised your hand, we need to talk. Or at least if you have any idea how we might be of mutual help to each other, please give me a call so we can talk about it. Now, in order to show you the size and breadth of this community that the Community Foundation is happy to collaborate with, would all those of you who, in an organization that I've mentioned and have raised your hand, stand so we can get an appreciation of how many of you are. Please, good time to take a break anyway. Please stand up if you're one of these people. Thank you all, and none of you have to come up and give a response.
Thanks, Dick. Thank you, Dick. Our next presenters are from the Energy and Environment Commission, Diane Plunkett-Latham and Sarah Zaron-Motati.
Good evening. I'm Diane Plunkett-Latham, Chair of the Edina Energy and Environment Commission. We have 4 individuals that we will be recognizing tonight, and 2 other commissioners will be also helping recognize them. That is Commissioner Thompson as well as Commissioner Zaron. I have the pleasure to introduce Kevin Clay. Kevin Clay received a BS in ecology with a minor in soil science from the University of Minnesota with summa cum laude honors. He joined Midwest National Resources staff as an ecologist in 2008, for which he has conducted rare plant surveys, soil investigations, wetland surveys and delineations, invasive species surveys, and botanical inventories. Kevin is on the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources list of approved surveyors for endangered and threatened plant species. As an Edina volunteer, Kevin surveyed Edina City Park woodlands and located the habitat with the greatest number of naturally occurring wildflowers in Edina. These are in an area near Lake Cornelia in Roslyn Park. Beginning in spring 2008, Kevin enlisted community volunteers and donations from the Edina Garden Council and the Edina Community Foundation to control buckthorn and noxious weeds so that the native plants in this special area could thrive. We are indebted to Kevin for restoring this lovely area for all to enjoy. If you would like to see this special area, plan to join Kevin on a guided wildflower hike on Sunday, May 8th. Meet at 6:30 p.m. in front of the Edina Art Center for a 1-hour hike. It will be a great way to walk off some of your Mother's Day brunch. And if you take a look at your table, you should each have a little flyer on the wildflower hike. That is Sunday, May 8th at 6:30 p.m. We might hear a few owls on that hike too. So, Kevin, we're pleased to give you this certificate to thank you for all the work you've done restoring habitat in Edina.
Thank you, Diane. I'm honored. There's still a lot of work to do restoring Lake Cornelia Park, so I plan on continuing this. And but before that, I just want to recognize the community because there's been a lot of other people that have aided me. This is not something I've done on my own. And so as part of this, I'm going to organize a wildflower walk coming up on May 8th, and I would like to, anybody else is welcome to join. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to start with a quote from Lester Brown. We need an economy for the 21st century, one that is in sync with Earth and the natural support system, not the one that is destroying them. The fact is, we have to go beyond recycling and changing the light bulbs. However, a small step can go a long way. For example, each year by recycling, Twin City metro area residents reduce greenhouse gas emission equivalent to removing 80,000 cars from highways, or saves natural resources equivalent to protecting 1.5 million trees. So keep recycling. And city of Edina alone recycled 3,774 tons from residents in 2010. Edina schools have been working on reducing, reusing, and recycling. And I'm honored tonight to present the volunteer awards to Bruce Coles from Highland Elementary School and Eric Burfind, a science teacher at Edina High School. Both have been they have had major roles in their schools to teach the younger generation the impact of being a responsible citizen by reducing waste. Bruce?
Thank you, Sarah. I'd like to thank the Commission and the city for all the work that you guys do to green up the environment. It's been enjoyable the last couple of years working with the school district on the green energy efforts and the efforts of all the public schools. Especially it's been a lot of fun working with the kids of the community, the students that I get in class, seeing their excitement for the environment and their energy and efforts that they go through in order to kind of increase the sustainability of all the community members. So thank you so much for the award.
Appreciate this honor, and thank you, Sarah. I'm just one small part of an amazing community that you have here in Edina at Highlands Elementary School. I stepped in 3 years ago doing IT support and just filled a need, and the waste initiatives that they have going at that school are really quite remarkable, and our principal, Peter Hodney, needs to be commended for all he does to support everybody in that school, and as well as the Edina Public School District for their willingness to embrace new ideas and encourage those in the Edina Public Schools to pursue their passions. Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing? Need a stretch? No. It is such a pleasure to work with these three men, and they represent a large group in the Edina community, the Go Green. They have recycled and composted 129 tons of food waste and recyclable compostable products. And when you think of that, that's a remarkable thing, all 9 schools. But even more important, we're teaching our children that this is the future that we're growing into, where waste isn't something that has to happen, that we can live in a no-waste world. And I look over here and I see the recycling bin. Next year, I would like to see a green bin so that all of your cutlery and all of your utensils are compostable. And in the high school, you cannot rent the high school now without making an agreement that will use only compostable materials, which I think is exceptional. And that's coming out of the work of the Go Green Committee. My designee and award winner is Mike Seaman. You can read about Mike in here, but what I want to say about Mike is if you ever need anything, he's there. If you're a parent and you have kids and you want to find out who's a great teacher at Highland School, he'd be pointed to Mike. Mike is where I would like my kids to go to school if I had kids at this grade. He is a servant of the community. He engages his kids in learning for the real world, and he's very engaged in getting parents and the community involved, and always doing that. So it's my honor to present this to Michael Seaman.
I need to hire Paul as my PR man, I think. He's dynamite. Thanks so much for the award from the City of Edina, from the Energy and Environment Commission. I also want to thank Edina Schools, the leadership, Mary Manderfeld, Rick Dressen, and at Highland specifically, Peter Hodney. He's our principal, and he does a wonderful job of giving us freedom. Bruce and Eric are truly people who inspire me and inspire our children and inspire our staff. Lastly, I want to thank our students, because they're really sort of the key piece with regards to what we can do and how we do that. Diane and I were walking through the buffet line tonight, and we were talking about the Edina school system and what we're doing and how that got started and how it continues to be sustainable, and sort of juxtaposing that with regards to how can the city of Edina do the same thing. And that's the real key, is how can we expand this? We really believe it's leadership. It has to come from leadership, and then from that grassroots foundation. Our parents, truly at Highlands, are very, very supportive. About 3 years ago, Mayor Hovland came to my classroom when Jim Ellis, who is a citizen of Edina, unveiled for the first time his vertical axis wind turbine, which is an extraordinary machine. It would be wonderful someday soon to see that kind of a machine resting on top of some of the buildings in Edina. That's part of the dream that we have and that we've had in my classroom for 8 years, and we're going to continue to work towards that. That would be part of what you could take up if you were wishing also to be a part of this movement, what we call the green movement. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the award. Have a nice evening.
Our next honorees come from the Edina Federated Women's Club, Jane Twyman. Jane?
Good evening. The Edina Federated Women's Club was organized in 1960. Our organization is founded on friendship and strengthened by service. We are part of the General Federated Women's Club, the oldest women's organization, which was founded in 1890. The Edina Federated Women's Club has a membership of 100 ladies. We are dedicated to helping our community through our philanthropy and service projects. We are known for our past fundraiser, Santa House, and now we are known for our fundraiser, Feds Fest, which has been held at the Westin Hotel in January. The next time will be January 2012. We are here this evening to honor Jenny Pearson. She has been a secretary for the 16 years at St. Albans Episcopal Church, where we hold our meetings. She is a graduate of Hamline University, and she is very busy with her family and lives in Minneapolis. In that time, she has always seen, when she has been there to help our club, she has always seen that our meeting place is set up, microphones in place and working, and the kitchen in order, and many other things that unexpectedly a lot of times come up. In her calm and quiet way, she has been very important to us over all of these years. I am pleased to present Jenny Pearson. We are so happy to be able to honor her at this time.
I'm so honored to be recognized in this way by the Edina Federated Women's Club. Thank you so much. Over the course of many, many years, I have watched these women come to St. Albans, set up and conduct their monthly meetings and occasionally special events. And so I know many of them very well, and I see them in action, and they are incredible. These women are so very dedicated, hardworking, talented, energetic, and friendly, and I just really appreciate the working relationship that I have with them. I value their friendship and their service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a slight modification to our award lineup tonight. We have maybe a time conflict with one of our award recipients. So I do want to introduce Ann Dickey from the Southdale Y and have them recognize their volunteers. Ann.
I'm actually Mary Lockowich, the aquatic director at the Southdale YMCA, and Ann is here to present the award. Thanks for letting us butt in line, but Ann is a volunteer coach for volleyball, and her daughter is in playoffs in just a couple minutes, so she needs to get to that game. But we're used to always being at the end of the line, so I don't feel too bad. We're butting in a little bit.
Good evening. As Mary said, my name is Ann Dickey, and this past year I have been given the gift to be a swim coach for the Southdale YMCA Sharks. It's a team of 90 swimmers from the ages of 5 to 14, and when I looked at our coaching staff, there was 3 of us that started out, and between us we had 17 children, which we kind of looked at each other and wondered, how are we going to get an entire season pulled together with 17 children among the 3 of us? And that's when I turned to my steadfast volunteers, one of whom is with us today, Jeff Rhodes. If any of you have ever been involved with swimming, you know that there are plenty of opportunities to volunteer as a parent. It takes about 30 volunteers to put on a swim meet, and that doesn't even include the behind-the-scenes stuff. Where Jeff has been invaluable has been with his commitment and dedication to making us wireless, to making us more green. Last spring, he recommended to us that we look at creating a website. I don't know how to make a website. I can barely maintain my own email. Jeff said, helpfully, I'll take that on. I can make that happen for you. He spent his summer, all last summer, tirelessly working to put together a website to make my job easier, to make the parents of our swimmers, and to make our swimmers know about everything that was going on within our season. And then what I think makes Jeff remarkable, among all the other things, with his computer knowledge and his endless support of technical support to me on personal issues as well as the ones at the Y, is that he's made, and his family has made, volunteering a family affair. His wife has also tirelessly given her time and her talents and her energies to making the YMCA a really special place to be, a special place to work. And I commend parents like Jeff and Kelly who take the time to volunteer, who take the time to make a difference, because they're demonstrating to our 90 swimmers and their 2 children what it means to give back to a community, and in our case to the Y, that makes that organization so very, very special. So it is with great pleasure and an honor that I present the Southdale YMCA Volunteer Award to Jeff Rhodes.
Well, thank you, Ann. Thank you, Mary. I'm honored and humbled. I just feel like I'm just a part of the huge group of volunteers that have done a great job helping out with the swim team and other activities at the YMCA, and it's been a privilege. Who knew what saying yes would get me into, but it's been a very fun experience. It's been wonderful to see how my kids have grown and become empowered, participating at the YMCA on the swim team, and I look forward to many more years of helping out. And last but not least, I need to really thank my wife for being so gracious and understanding about me putting all the time in. It's been a privilege, and it's been a lot of fun to do the work. Thank you.
Congratulations. Next up, we have Kathy Statine, I hope I'm saying that right, from the Garden Council. And if we could have Jan Solomon and the Solomonson and the Historical Society kind of make their way up, you're on deck next. But let's hear from the Garden Council.
You did perfectly. Hello, good evening. We are the ladies and men who bring you the flowers in the parks, Edina Garden Council. And we enjoy all of the time that we put in at the greenhouse. We are honored, or we are delighted to introduce you to our Volunteer of the Year, Sue Newhart, who came to us as many of our volunteers do. A neighbor friend of hers, Ruth Leby, who's sitting here, invited her to her club meeting. And Sue attended. She had retired as a nurse. She then attended the overall Edina Garden Council meeting. The Edina Garden Council was in need of a secretary. Sue said, "I've never been a secretary, but I will try to do it." She then went on in Edina Garden Council. She became president of Edina Garden Council. In that role, she established a wonderful relationship with Richfield and Bloomington Garden Councils as well. This grew into the state organization, Federated Garden Council, Federated Garden Clubs of Minnesota. And Sue, again, volunteered to be the secretary. Then she was a vice president and another vice president. And she has just concluded a 2-year term as our state president, where she has represented us at regional meetings and national meetings. She is the first Edina Garden Council member to be state president. And so we are delighted with how she has represented us so well. She established mission and vision statements in both of our organizations. She encouraged us to be philanthropic, and we have contributed many scholarship dollars to horticultural students in tech schools and the University of Minnesota. So not only does the city of Edina gain from our volunteer efforts, but so do horticultural students. And with that, I am delighted to introduce Sue Newhart.
Thank you, Kathy. In listening to her comments, I see a troubling pattern here of being secretary and taking on more and more responsibility. But I'm certainly proof that you don't have to be an accomplished gardener to be a member of the Edina Garden Council. You just have to be interested and have some passion, I think, and commitment and a willingness to join a group of people who take pleasure in planting and making our city and our neighborhoods more beautiful by our contributions. You must also have a willingness to get your hands dirty, especially when we start planting seeds in the greenhouse at Arneson Acres Park in January, and we tend those seeds and we transplant those seedlings and then plant the city gardens in May. The evening wouldn't be complete for me up here without recognizing the exemplary leadership that Kathy Statine has provided for the last 2 years for Edina Garden Council. She's done a wonderful job in moving and continuing the progress that's been made by my predecessors as president and laying a good foundation for the future. I want to thank also and recognize my fellow Clover Lane Garden Club members who comprise the majority of this table for showing up tonight. That was a total surprise to me. They welcomed me as a new member, as a friend, and have taught me so very much. Edina Garden Council has 7 clubs, And I consider many of the members of those clubs new friends over the past 8 years. And I was worried a little bit when I retired about being able to make new friends, since you do so much of that in the workplace. But I found that there were, as many of you have found, other places to do that. I want to thank the City of Edina for holding this annual event. I think it's an excellent opportunity to recognize the breadth of talent and skills in our community, and how fortunate we are to live in this area. I would encourage you in my final comment here to go to our website, www.edinagardencouncil.org, and look for yourself at all the different projects and activities we're involved in. Thank you.
All right, if we could have Jesse and Bob are going to the on-deck area, and I'd like to introduce Jan Solomonson and the Historical Society. Jan.
Hello, I'm Marcy Madsen. I've been here several years now, and you've gotten to know me. I am the director of the Edina History Museum, and appear here as the representative for the Edina Historical Society. What you might not know is that I do work with 4 other women who share a teaching job at the Minnehaha Grange Hall, number 398 in Cahill School. And we do a living history program there that draws thousands of school children throughout the state of Minnesota to experience a day in 1900. And so those 2 historic buildings that were beautifully restored by the City of Edina are now put to use almost every day. In the recent years, Jan Solomonson and her cohorts have built a program that also includes summer day camp and history-themed birthday parties and many other events. We are inviting you to an open house, which we are co-sponsoring with the Heritage Preservation Board, so that grown-ups can see the buildings. And that'll be Tuesday, May 10th from 5 to 7. And it's free, and you can get a chance to see all the cool things inside the building that you may have passed by. It's right across from City Hall and by Perkins. And they're just amazing buildings with all sorts of secret things. There's a peephole that you can, because it was a secret society. So all sorts of great stories that we can share with you. Because of the growth of the programs, though, these women cannot do the programs alone. They have enlisted the help of volunteers, and Jan Solomonson is here to tell you about 2 very wonderful volunteers, and I'll turn the program over to her.
Thanks, Marcy. Well, I really am happy to be here tonight to introduce you to 2 really fine young people. Zachary and Brinley are 2 of some 15 young people who volunteer in the Cahill School program and all of the programs that we run during the school year and in the summer. Zachary was our very first volunteer, and he arrives every day with a great sense of humor. He has just a wonderful sense of humor. He has a willing attitude and a very friendly personality that makes everyone feel welcome when they come to Cahill School. Brinley is our youngest volunteer, and she is a girl with great compassion. When she arrived last summer for summer camp, she came as a camper, but she took it upon herself after the first day of camp to see to the needs of another camper who came to us with disabilities. And because of Brinley's kindness, Katie's experience at camp was the best it could ever be, much more than we could have done without her help. So I am very pleased to introduce you to these 2 very fine young people whose parents have done an excellent job of teaching them the value of what it is like to be in service to others. This is Brinley and Zachary Anderson. Nicely done.
And as a small token of our appreciation, we'll be giving them hand-painted ornaments that show Cahill School and the Grange. Thank you.
I want to introduce 2 commissioners from our Human Rights and Relations Commission, Jesse Kingston and Bob Mayer. Bob.
I have the honor of serving the City of Edina as a commissioner on the Human Rights and Relations Commission. The commission is responsible for advising and counseling the Edina City Council on matters relating to discrimination in human relations. Activities of the commission include the recently conducted Reflections on Bullying event forum and the implementation of a domestic partner registry by the City of Edina. In addition to the ongoing education and community activities, the Commission also recommends the city's human resources funding. Finally, while I'm here today is to present the Tom Oy Human Rights Award. The Tom Oy Human Rights Award is our singular honor for individuals who live and work in Edina, whose good work and promote human relations and advance human rights. The late Tom Oy was a longtime Edina resident and humanitarian who demonstrated courage and compassion in the advancement of human rights. He helped found the Edina Human Rights Commission in 1970 and served on it for more than 30 years. We didn't have term limits in those days, I guess. Tom served on a number of human relations committees in Minnesota. He also served in World War II in one of the most decorated units in the United States military. He was an amazing hero. The award was first presented in 2006 by our current City Councilwoman, Mary Brindle, who I want to recognize, who was on the commission at the time. And the honorees who over the last few years include advocates who have demonstrated courage and compassion in the advancement of human rights, leadership and support in our schools and companies, and outreach programs that improve the quality of life and well-being for many. The evaluation of the nominations, and we received many nominations for the award, is based on the following criteria: efforts to foster respect and dignity for others, modeling courage and compassion in the advancement of human rights, and demonstrated leadership by example for improving human relations and advancing human rights. Our 2011 recipient of the Tom Oy Award is Daniel Johnson. Dan has been the senior pastor of the Good Samaritan United Methodist Church. He has recently accepted a new position as Director of Congregational Development with the United Methodist Churches. And during Dan's 27 years of ministry, he's been a tireless advocate for human rights. My fellow commissioners were impressed with his passion and his eloquence as he worked in his faith-based community to ensure that the welcome to all would truly mean all. His leadership has resulted in his church becoming a reconciling church that has openly welcomed and affirmed GLBT individuals since 1995. He has reached beyond the walls of his church to show exceptional leadership in advocating equal access and acceptance, affirming and blessing relationships without regard to the gender of the partner, and advancing civil rights regardless of sexual orientation. Let me read from the nomination. On a host of issues, from poverty and homelessness to discrimination and equality, his message has been that all people are children of God and entitled to the same respect and dignity. What makes Dan's selection as this year's recipient even more special is his personal relationship with the late Tom Oy as a member of the Good Samaritan community. There are an exceptional number of church members here today to honor Dan. And I'd like them to just rise up very quickly, just to be recognized. And it says something about Dan's impact in his community, to the passion and love that Dan has engendered. I told Dan that I would ask him to say a few words. I also told him that many of the attendees may not be attending their own faith-based community, and the pulpit we would provide him to speak for would provide a few moments, did not come with a requirement for a collection or an expectation that this group would sing. He assured me that despite those limitations, he would still accept my offer to speak. I would note that the light tended to move, for those of you that were sitting in the back, it was a bright sunlight, and it slowly landed on this table. And it is an honor to present the recipient of the City of Edina's 2011 Tom Oy Human Rights Award to Dan Johnson. Thank you.
Well, no collection. I told Bob I'd also prepare my remarks, because if a preacher stands up without anything prepared, 2 minutes turns into 20 very quickly. I want to thank the Edina Human Rights and Relations Commission for recognizing leaders for justice in our Edina community, and I'm honored. I think that I'm the 10th recipient of this award. I also want to thank my mother, and my late father for raising me with values where faith was not just words, but deeds, where church was not a building, but a community reflecting God's love and acceptance of all people. I thank my wife and my children here with me today for building a family of both support and challenge, where we constantly encourage each other to grow into catalysts for light and change in our own little corners of the world. I thank Good Samaritan United Methodist Church, representatives of the congregation here today, where I was privileged to serve for nearly 12 years. They are a congregation of deep spirituality that motivates a vision to make a difference in the world. They faithfully follow and lead in efforts that add hands and feet to prophetic voice. This award gives tribute to a congregation without which I could never have been so bold. So thank you. And finally, I thank the dearly departed member of Good Samaritan United Methodist Church, in whose honor this award is named. I had the privilege of serving as Tom Oy's pastor for 5 years and officiated at his funeral in April of 2004. The anniversary was just a week ago. It's been acknowledged in a variety of places, just mentioned tonight, that as a second-generation Japanese American, Tom fought in the U.S. Army during World War II, rising to the rank of lieutenant colonel. What is not widely known is that while fighting overseas for dignity and freedom, his wife and family members were denied those same rights here in the United States and held in Japanese internment camps during the very time he was fighting for our country. When asked if he ever carried resentment about that situation, Tom would reply, "Hatred consumes you. It doesn't do a thing to the other person." And so instead of negativity, Tom committed himself so positively to the cause of racial reconciliation, the human rights effort of his generation. One of Tom's many arenas of volunteer service was amazingly prompt visitation of the sick. In fact, the standing joke was that Tom not only got to the hospital faster than the preachers, he got there faster than the doctors themselves. And it's a privilege, once again, to follow in Tom Oy's pace-setting footsteps. Both civically and religiously, the rights, roles, and relationships of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community are the human rights effort of this generation. And I thank the city of Edina for recognizing this movement of justice. Thank you.
Next up is the Edina Kiwanis Golden K Club, Gordon Holm. Gordon.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gordon Holm. I represent the Edina Golden K Kiwanis Club. And we're happy to be here tonight to honor our current president and secretary, Jim Bentley. Since 1984, the Edina Kiwanis Golden K Club has been privileged and honored to support the community, enjoy fellowship, and in general be a good citizen of Edina. Jim has provided, Jim moved to Edina about 10 years ago. He joined the Kiwanis Club at that time.
Yeah, but I lived since 1965,
Oh.
but that's okay.
Anyway, he joined the Kiwanis Club about 10 years ago, and that amount of time has provided excellent leadership, culminating in the fact that this year, in 2011, our club will donate approximately $60,000 to 40 different organizations, primarily in the Edina and the metro community. And that will include 4 scholarships to Edina High School seniors of $2,000 apiece. We do this in part by sponsoring a concert each year. This year, and you're all invited, by the way, a short commercial. a Dixieland Band concert at the Southview Middle School on Friday, June 17. We do this in partnership with the Senior Center, with Sue Eigel and the Senior Center people, and we share the revenues with them. This has all been made possible because Jim has provided, Jim has been the go-to guy in our organization. He has provided the spark plug and the organization and the leadership, and we honor him for that purpose. Jim?
Thank you. Thank you, Gordy, and thank you, Sue. And Sue is also going to take over next year with the Historical Society and the Senior Center. They're going to take over this annual concert. And Jim Hovland always gives a little talk just before the concert starts, and we appreciate that too. It's usually a full house, and it's good music, so we hope you'll come out in June for that. Thank you.
I now want to introduce Larry Friedrichs from the Edina Lions Club. Larry.
On behalf of the Edina Lions Club, I would like to present Lion Marty LaBelle with the club's Ori Award. The Ori Award was established in 1991 in recognition of Edina Lion Ori Knudsen for his loyalty and distinguished vision to the club. Lion Marty has a lot of these same qualities, and that is why we're presenting him this award as Outstanding Member of the Year. Marty first joined the club in 2006. He's fulfilled a lot of the different positions on his way up to his current club president status. He's also working at the district level now, advancing. Marty has a barber chair down on 50th and France, and it's really a great recruiting tool for new members. The topic of conversation normally leads to something regarding the next Lion event. Having a captured audience with the scissors in your hand really can help sell tickets to our events. Behind the scene, Marty is the one who's working the deals, looking for donations, seeking bargains, and then coming up with new ideas to serve the community. He just put together our Spring Fling earlier this week, and with under his leadership, we had raised more money last year and had more people in attendance. He's our official sausage cooker at the pancake and our waffle breakfast. Marty has got a new passion that he's trying to make awareness of, and it's called the Minnesota Fighting Lions. It's a beepball organization where they play baseball, the blind people do, and this ball has a little beeping sound, and that's what they do to locate the ball. So he's been real active in getting that up and going. I'll take a minute and just tell you a little bit about the Lions Club itself. We're the world's largest service organization. We have over 1.3 million members in 45,000 clubs worldwide. We're in about 200 countries and geographical areas. Whenever there's a natural disaster occurs, the Lions there provide immediate needs such as food, water, and reconstruction services. Locally, we do a lot of work with the Can Do Canines, Opportunity Partners, and the Pacer Center. We also support the Minnesota Special Olympics each summer down at the university doing vision checks for the athletes. Our motto is we serve, and we're part of a global network doing whatever is necessary for the local communities. So on behalf of the Edina Lions, I'd like to present Lion Marty with the Ori Award.
Thank you. I accept this award. Thank you.
Congratulations, Marty. It's now my pleasure to introduce Steve Lyon and a whole bunch of people from the Morningside Rotary Club. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Steve Lyon. I have the honor of being the president of the Edina Morningside Rotary as we enter our 21st year. We were chartered as a morning alternative to our sister club, our parent club, the Edina Rotary Club of Edina, who you'll be hearing from later. I thought I would take this opportunity to share with you some information about our club through a few of our many members that serve. And we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of activity, and there's a website that can tell you all about this, emrotary.org. And my first award is actually going to go to the basically the producer of that website, Mark Shockey. And when you see it, you'll see why he wins, why he's getting an accommodation from us. But when you go on this website, and I extend this as an invitation to everyone to learn about Rotary and learn if there's anything that you'd like to do. You don't have to be a member. There's a section called Friends of Edina Morningside Rotary. We have some wonderful things coming up. We have a plant sale this spring. But on June 9th, we're going to be doing a beer tasting, our first annual, and it's going to be done in conjunction with Edina Municipal Liquors out at Braemar. And you can find out about that through our website. Something else you'll see on our website is actually our oldest community service project, and it's cleaning the highway. We clean Highway 100 from south of 50th to Benton, and we're going to be doing it this weekend. So drive safely and don't be a litter bug. We're going to have enough work to do. But the person that actually got the first application with the stakes, you have to apply to clean a highway, is Mark Moore, and he's kept that program alive through many years. So I'm going to extend to him. Yes, Mark Moore. Very good. Thank you. The next program I'd like to speak a little bit about is Strive. And that program won the Mayor's Connecting with Kids Award last year. And this tradition has continued. It actually grows each year. It's done through the Edina High Schools with a goal of making C students better, reaches out to underprivileged students. The program is currently looking for mentors and people to get involved. You don't have to be a Rotarian to join or get involved with that, and we invite you all. You can find out more about that at our next meeting. Please come. It's Tuesday morning. Edina Country Club, 7:30. After that, at 9 o'clock, we're going to have an informational meeting on Strive. If you'd like to know more, please email me, and I can connect you with the right people. And two of them are here tonight, and they are worthy of an award for this fine program. Cricket Opime Shanarana and Jamie Sidor. Our Rotary Club has its own local foundation, and Rotary International also has a foundation. Our local foundation focuses on many local charities. We give grants each year to about 20 different foundations, nonprofits, groups of that nature. And in the last year or two, we've really reached out to everyone to get involved, invite them to apply for grants. We have an open house that has to do with our foundation. And we feel like we've developed partnerships with the people that are in the community. And the leader for that has been Guy Logan. He was our president last year. So with that, I'm going to give him actually 2 awards. There was one that came from our district governor a few weeks back. And then there was also one that our club is extending to him. So, Guy Logan. Yes, we put it under that category. Thank you, Guy.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Rotary International is the other foundation that we participate in, and it's famous for a lot of things, but recently we've really dedicated a lot of effort to eradicating polio worldwide, and it's virtually eliminated worldwide except for really maybe 2.5 countries in just far regions of the world. And that is in large part to the efforts of Rotarians and the money we put into the foundation. Bill and Melinda Gates and their foundation partnered with us with a significant grant, and it's really been a good thing for us. It does require funding, and we go to each of our members to participate. And one of our members tonight is here who's probably worked on this the most through the years. We have a really good record of success in this department. 100% of our members have participated most years. 70% of our members are Paul Harris Fellows. And that wouldn't be the case if it wasn't for Jim Warner, who every year makes phone calls. He's done at least a decade's worth of work on this project, and it continues and grows each year. And he's actually getting 2 awards too. One from our club, and then also one from our district governor. He actually is getting the Service Above Self Award from our district governor. All right, thank you very much. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Ruth Valgamay from the Morningside Women's Club. Ruth.
Thank you. Good evening, Edina. The ladies of Morningside are happy to be here again, to see some old friends and to meet some new ones. And this year I have the honor to introduce 2 of the Morningside Women Club's best friends, Marilyn Kreckelberg and Mab Nolte. Marilyn Kreckelberg joined us in 1980. She jumped right into the thick of things, and she's been in the thick of things ever since. She's worked on programs, membership, and press. She's been our historian and our president. She's chaired our gourmet and bridge sections, all of which doesn't begin to describe the funny and creative woman who memorably put Al Sickerman on the block and who masterminded the never-to-be-forgotten Barbie Doll Bash for our style show. She keeps us going at our board meetings and keeps us laughing at our bridge games, in addition to which she's a born hostess, and I have it on very good authority, she's an excellent baker. Mab Nolte came to us in 1993 and has served as president, program chair, secretary, press, treasurer, reservationist. But one of her finest hours came in, I think it was 2007, when our club was faced with the horrific prospect of having nothing to eat. Mab charmed a friend into sharing the catering job for our luncheons, and I think that friend is here tonight. And somehow Mab managed to make the whole thing look effortless. She also organized our first house tour, thus fulfilling our not-so-secret desires to see inside each other's remodeling projects. And as a former English major, she kicks our book club up a notch or 3 and persuades local authors to come to our meetings. It's great. Marilyn and Mab, in short, they've done it all. But there's another reason why they're getting this award, and it's something they share with our past recipients and with you all here tonight. It's more than what they do, it's how they do it. It's coming early to set up, staying late to clean up. It's welcoming new members. It's standing by old members. It's believing in and caring for and loving what they do and who they do it with and who they do it for. You can't bottle it. You can only be grateful for it when you see it. Oh, and you can honor them tonight, which is what we're doing. And I'm going to present them with the Morningside Women's Club Award, the Ladies of 1938, and I know they'd approve. Thank you, Marilyn and Mab.
Oh, my. Thank you so much. I just want you to know that I am extremely happy to be here tonight because as of last Friday, I wasn't sure I was going to when I had a little accident. And my wonderful daughter moved in with me for 3 days to take care of me, and that's why I'm here tonight, because I think this is one of the nicest things that I go to hear all the wonderful things that are being done in Edina. It's a wonderful thing. I am so proud and honored and humbled by this award because every one of the members of the Morningside Women's Club could be up here. We're a wonderful group. Age makes no difference. We older ones are friendly with the younger ones and so on. We have wonderful programs and we just have a good time. And like I say, I'm very honored to get that. I don't write things down, which I should. But thank you very much, and thank you to the board and to the members and to all of you that came tonight. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth, and my dear friends who came. I've been a member of the Morningside Women's Club for about 20 years, and it has been a great pleasure throughout. We are over 100 energetic, creative, and often hilarious women who pitch in together all the time to get whatever needs done, done. My membership has given me the opportunity to accomplish so much alongside my friends and to be a leader in my community. I am so grateful to be honored by this club. Which brings such meaning and sense of connection to our neighborhood and to me. Thanks.
Our next honorees come from the Public Art Committee, and I want to introduce Lois Ring to make these recognitions. Lois. You can get the sun out of your eyes, right?
I'm going to be short because you can see what our Public Art Committee is involved in as we have an exhibition opening on June 15th in the Promenade, just north of Centennial Lakes Park and also at Grandview. So come and join in and enjoy the art. After much coaxing, Bernice finally allowed us to honor her tonight. She is a behind-the-spotlight kind of volunteer who deserves to be honored for her contributions and passion for promoting public art in Edina. Bernice has been on the committee for almost 5 years as a steady, reliable supporter of the arts. She is always willing and cheerful to take up any task presented to her. As past secretary for the committee, Bernice tirelessly kept our community informed of the progress of public art in Edina. We thank you for your continuing dedication, Bernice.
Everyone here tonight is part of a group that is working for the community. Everyone, the presenters, the recipients, and all you people at the tables who are supporting your group deserve credit for making Edina the great place it is. Now I need to talk about EPAC, Edina Public Arts Committee. Excuse me. For the past 2 years, we have been concentrating on obtaining sculptures for the promenade. If you haven't been on a walk there, it's located on 70th Street, behind Target, between Target and the Pancake House. And you need to spot the first sculpture that you can see from 70th Street. Look at it, enjoy it, and then proceed along the promenade, and your pleasure will be multiplied by 9 as you walk past the selections of the Edina Art Committee. Some pieces are, some of the pieces, I should explain that there are some pieces on the promenade that you have seen before because they were the popular winners from the last 2 groups. But there are new additions there too that you will enjoy. Some pieces are, so realistic, but others are interestingly peculiar. Different strokes for different folks. The slogan on the Grandview Station on Vernon this month is, aspire to inspire before you expire. I'm going to repeat that. Aspire to inspire before you expire. I think that might possibly be a good slogan, motto for EPAC, because hopefully some of the sculptures that we have selected will be there for years to come. Then we can perhaps claim for ourselves that we are going to outlive our lives for the betterment of all you people. We want to thank all of you who have supported EPAC through donations, through your utility bills. When you visit the promenade this spring or summer or fall, we ask you to vote for a particular sculpture that you have enjoyed and that you think deserves your consideration. I think that I should repeat again that what Lois has said, that we invite all of you to the grand opening of this year's sculpture, the Promenade open house on June 15th, and we hope to see you there.
All right. Aspire to inspire before you expire. That's going to stick with me from tonight. But I would like to introduce Sue Weigel and her honoree Scott Smith from the Senior Center. Sue.
Yes, I will. You know, it just occurred to me as I was sitting there, this is the first baby boomer that we have honored from the Senior Center. So congratulations, Scott. And we need more baby boomers coming over there. Scott Smith began as a duplicate bridge player with great desire to learn more. Today he is qualified as a club director. Scott runs 2 regular bridge groups, all tournaments at the Senior Center. In addition, he gladly fills in for any of our needed when other bridge groups need him as a leader, if the other leader is not there, excuse me. He's a take-charge guy, respected by his players, and he has a heart of gold. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you. I'll make this brief and short. Thank you, Sue, and thank you for the city for having such a beautiful senior center. I don't know if you people have been there or seen it underneath the library, but it's a fantastic facility. And I walked in there when I retired. And my first time there, I ended up playing with a woman that was 99 years old, who didn't have a partner. And that became my mission in life, because I decided that I wanted to make sure that when the snowbirds go down south and they haven't got a partner, I wanted them to come anyway, and I guaranteed a partner. And this has been a mission that I've been on, and I've seen the success of it, because we've got every game now, we got 4 or 5 people come that are single, that their partners have either passed away or they're gone for some reason. And these are people that would be sitting at home otherwise. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity to join the Senior Center and get involved in it. And I just wish you people could come and join us. Yep. Have a good day.
Now I want to introduce Clara Engelbert from the Edina Women's Club. Clara.
Hello. As he said, I'm Clara Engelbert. I'm completing my second year as president of the Edina Women's Club. We've had a great year celebrating our 85th anniversary. And from beginning, the club understood the cultural need for friendships, a strong interest and commitment to civic pride, and to the specific, try that one, specific education of women. In 1950, the club awarded its first scholarships. This year, we will continue our 61-year tradition, and 4 Edina High School senior graduating women will each receive a $1,500 scholarship. And this year, our club wishes to honor Jane Carpenter for her special talents and service to the Edina Women's Club. Jane is the dream member that every club wishes they had and needs so desperately. She came to her first meeting as a guest. She came to her second meeting as a member. And she came the following year as a volunteer. This is Jane's 6th year as a member, and she's been on the executive board for 5 of her 6 years. As vice president in charge of membership, Jane has become the club techie. She was instrumental in the electronic development of our membership book, all of our brochures, and the monthly newsletter program, and the programs for all of these. Jane also promotes the values of the club with her many civic interests. She has been on the executive board of the AAUM, the Edina Garden Council. She probably helped plant some of the seeds for the flowers on your tables. Jane is also a volunteer at the Edina schools. The last quote is, "Jane builds solutions." I would like to thank Jane from our club with this. And Jane is holding a very small bouquet of flowers because we give 1 flower for each year that our recipient has been on part of the executive board. Well, since Jane has just been on it for 5 years, she can only have 5 roses. We're very, very proud of Jane.
Thank you, Clara. For 85 years, the Edina Women's Club has had a multitude of women who have volunteered. It has been a privilege and a pleasure to serve on the Edina Women's Club board. What an honor it is to receive this award with gratitude, and how much I appreciate my friends from the Edina Women's Club support here this evening and throughout the years, and thank the Edina Women's Club for this award. Thank you.
Next, from Fairview Southdale Hospital, Pamela Mills and Amy Lovitz.
Good evening. I'm actually Mary Muirhead, and I'm a coordinator at Fairview Southdale Hospital, and I'm filling in for Pamela. So, Fairview Southdale Hospital has 691 active volunteers, and they all make significant contributions to the hospital and our community. We are proud to recognize and honor the following volunteers tonight for their long-time commitment and significant number of hours of service to our patients, families, and visitors. Each of the following women has volunteered at Fairview Southdale Hospital for over 40 years. Shirley Johnson is an Edina resident and has volunteered 42 years and more than 6,400 hours. She started volunteering in 1968 when Fairview Southdale Hospital was only 3 years old and only 3 stories tall. She started volunteering in the coffee shop. Shirley reports that when the hospital started, the volunteers were asked to commit to a full 8-hour day. It was rumored in those early years that you had to be a doctor's wife in order to volunteer at the hospital. But Shirley and one of her neighbor ladies found out that they were readily accepted into the volunteer force, even though they were not doctors' wives. Her 5 children grew up knowing that Tuesdays was their Mother's Day at the hospital, so they better not schedule her for other things on Tuesdays. Tuesday is still Shirley's day, and you'll find her at our Skyway information desk, greeting patients and visitors, giving directions, answering incoming patient information phone calls, and answering all kinds of questions. She's a wealth of information. After her husband, Gene, retired, she recruited him to volunteer at the hospital too. Thank you, Shirley, for 42 years of service and continued commitment to Fairview Southdale Hospital. Jean Kauth has been volunteering in our same-day surgery area for over 40 years. You'll find her keeping physically active, making up beds for patients going into surgery, or disinfecting recliners, running any number of errands for the nursing staff, and discharging patients. She has seen the surgical area grow and change dramatically during the time she's volunteered. Nowadays, we can treat as many as 72 patients a day in same-day surgery, and Jean has been instrumental in keeping things running smoothly in the recovery areas and helping to comfort and serve our patients. Jean has served 4,900 hours. Jean is not able to be with us this evening. She actually volunteered this afternoon and is putting her feet up after taking care of 50 patients. Amy will accept her award in Jean's honor. Betty Settle is responsible for starting our telecare program in 1970. Telecare is a free service offered to anyone living within the local telephone calling area who lives independently and benefits from a daily telephone reassurance call 365 days a year. Many of our telecare clients have chronic health issues, or their family members live far away, and they feel secure knowing there is someone with a cheerful voice that they can call each morning and talk to. If we don't hear from them, or if they tell us they need help, we contact their designated family member or neighbor for emergency services. In addition to monitoring the telecare phone line 1 day a week, Betty is also active as a Fairview home care and hospice volunteer. Betty lives in Bloomington with her husband, Jim. Betty has served 10,226 hours during her 40 years as a telecare volunteer. Thank you, Betty, for your time, your caring, and your continued commitment to the health of our community. While our adults have been active for a number of years, we also have a program for high school students called Junior Volunteers. Amy Lobitz coordinates that program, and she will introduce our next volunteer.
Apeksha Gunwardena is a high school student who has volunteered a significant amount of time at Fairview Southdale Hospital. Today we're recognizing Apeksha for her service in 2010. Last year, she gave over 254 hours of her time, the equivalent of more than 1 shift per week, all while going to school and participating in extracurricular activities. As a Step Force volunteer, Apeksha transports and discharges patients. Her caring spirit is apparent in all of her interactions with patients. Apeksha is always friendly, helpful, and confident in her role, putting her patients at ease. As a junior in high school and one of our older volunteers in the program, Apeksha is a great role model to our younger and newer junior volunteers. She's always punctual, reliable, always willing to try new assignments and learn new things. We're grateful she isn't graduating from high school this year so she can remain in our program for a year longer. Thank you, Apeksha.
Next up, the Normandale Center for Healing and Wellness, Shirley Pope. Shirley.
Hi, I'm Shirley Pope. I'm the Care Team Volunteer Coordinator and the Volunteer Driving Coordinator for the Normandale Center for Healing and Wholeness. The center was established 13 years ago in recognition of the needs of our seniors in Edina, and we've been serving Edina seniors ever since, especially the seniors who want to stay in their own home, and most of them do. We offer friendly visitors because in the 10 years I've been there, it seems to me the two biggest needs for seniors who are in their own homes is socialization and transportation. And the transportation issue, everyone recognizes is a very big problem, and it's hard to know how to address it. But our volunteers from the center offer rides to appointments, and they are friendly visitors. They grocery shop. It's a wonderful thing. It's what friends would do for friends or neighbor for neighbor. And I have over 100 volunteers. This is our first year here. So I'm thinking I'm honoring publicly 2 volunteers tonight. So I'm going to have probably 50-some years to go before I honor all of them. But I want to honor Carol Upgard. Thank you, Carol. And Miriam Kaiser. They are both longtime Edina residents. That wasn't why I selected them necessarily, but it's interesting. And one of the things that I told them, one was concerned that she would have to talk afterwards. So if they cut their remarks short, that's because I promised them that. But we really do enjoy working with seniors, and I believe we make a difference in the seniors' lives, especially with women like this who are very caring and for over 12 years have served them and never say no. They are always ready. Say something?
Thank you, Shirley. You're a good leader.
Thank you.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce from the Rotary Club of Edina, Mr. John Barnett. John.
Thank you very much. If you'll open up your program on the inside of the last page where it says Mayor's Youth Accommodation, and you see Apeksha's name there, look right to the left and then read about what I'm going to talk about. Thank you. It's under Rotary Club of Edina, a brief history on our club. It was started in 1957 and we're still here. That was brief. The Rotary Rocks the Y program is what we're here to talk a little bit about, and I'm going to ask Josh Sprague, who's a city council member and a member of our club, and Nate Wenner are going to receive the awards this evening. Josh, come on up, if you would, please. Nate's not here, and because we are a nonprofit, we give all of our money away. We don't have a plaque for Josh, so I'm just going to shake his hand when we're done. But Josh and Nate started the program called Rotary Rocks the Y. It's where youth are supervised and directed during after-school hours at the YMCA with a youth development staff member and a Rotary volunteer. Program curriculum is developed by the YMCA staff member. Transportation to and from the program is provided by the Southdale Y, picking up the selected students from Cornelius School and at the end of the school day dropping them back off at their home. The Rotary Rocks the Y is an excellent example of developing and maintaining a collaborative relationship with the assistance of the Edina Resource Center. The three primary partners were brought together to the table, which was Cornelia Elementary School, the Edina Noon Rotary Club, and the Southdale Y. Cornelia School provides staff support for the academic piece under the direction of Michael Wyckoff and Marlis Auski. The Edina Noon Rotary Club provides financial support by donating funds for the purchase of the minibus and for the program's transportation needs, as well as providing volunteer participation. And that's kind of what Josh has done every year, every week for the last couple years, spends a couple hours a week with these kids as a mentor, et cetera. And we've got other groups, members for our club that do that as well. So Josh, on behalf of our 170 some members of the Edina Rotary Club, thanks a lot for everything you do.
Thanks so much. I'm Josh Sprague. I am a member of the Edina Noon Rotary Club, the chair of the YMCA Southdale, and your rookie member of the Edina City Council. And I thought I had seen and heard everything this evening until I witnessed an award tonight of Mike Opitz in a bathtub on video on the city website. So I don't know if Mike's here, but I am not going to be planning on watching that video anytime soon.
One of our fine Rotary members.
Anyway, what has me jazzed up tonight is, and one of the things I love most about the people of Edina, is their deep commitment and sense of responsibility to those in need. If you left tonight, you found a need out there in the community, you came to any of these organizations here, we would get the job done, period. We just don't leave people behind. And it's that type of commitment that led to the Rotary Rocks the Y program. And it all started with a gym teacher who observed some ESL students, some underprivileged kids who were not doing well in school, not doing well after school in their kind of common apartment buildings where they all live. Most of them live. And he decided to do something about it. So Mike Weinkoff went to these apartment buildings, started to work with the kids on their homework. And out of that program grew a literacy program at the school that the Edina Rotary Club was a part of. We staffed that during the days where Rotarians came in and worked with some of these kids on their literacy skills. And also a homework helpers program that was many of the same children after school to help support them in getting their studies done for the evening and more opportunities for mentorship. And then the final piece was this Rotary Rocks the Y program, which was supposed to be like a reward system for the kids that were doing their homework, for them to come over to the Y and have some recreation and have some fun. And we were missing a way to get them over there. So once again, the Edina community stepped forward. You know, we needed a $17,000 bus. Hey, in Edina, no problem. We get the job done, right? So this collaboration comes together. We get the $17,000 bus. And now the kids can come over. And we've been doing the program ever since then, and I can tell you, I think the most important part of this program is the message we send that no matter who you are or where you come from, you matter, and we're going to help you succeed. And that's why I've chosen to be a part of this program. And it's an hour once a week. It literally is the most rewarding and the easiest service commitment I have. I just go over there and play and have fun and talk to these kids. And I recommend to anyone in this room, if you're looking for something to do, to try it out, because you will have an impact, and there's no better investment you can make in the future than in these children. So thanks again for the award, John. I appreciate it.
And now I want to introduce Donald Shipper and the Southdale Y Service Club. Donald.
Thank you, Scott. I'm Don Shipper from Wise Service Club. We changed our name last year from the Wisemen, so hope we can get more people to come with us, and it's going on. We're still doing all our volunteer work for the YMCA with camps and all our work that we do goes to the YMCA. I'm here to represent Jeff Eubank, a devoted member of our Y community. For many years, he's always been willing to work with the Y and work with us in all our projects. As is always hard for us as our membership gets older to do their work. And Jeff is always the first ones to volunteer for every project we have. Person like Jeff is very welcome volunteer. And I'd like to introduce Jeff as our Volunteer of the Year for the Y Service Club of Minneapolis. Thank you, Jeff.
My name's Jeff, and thanks a lot for the honor. I've enjoyed working at the Y, helping with everything there is. It's filled a hole in my life as well. So with that, thank you very much.
Now for my final introduction of the night, I'm pleased to be able to introduce Mayor Jim Hovland. The mayor has served for over a decade the people of Edina, first as a member of the city council and also now as mayor. It is customary in many cities for mayors and city councils to give community awards and to recognize exemplary and exceptional citizenship and other qualities of the folks that live in our town. And so it's with no further ado, I want to introduce the Honorable Jim Hovland. Mayor?
Well, good evening, everybody. I was in the back visiting with Kenny Rosen, one of our former city managers, and so I kind of hustled up here. I'm sorry I got a little bit out of sequence here. But that also made me think about, as he characterized himself, our new city manager, Scott Neal. And I want to tell you a little bit about why we hired him. When we went through all the candidates and went through a very careful process with a lot of public input, we knew we were looking for a good leader that could concentrate on team and leading team. And he has done exactly what we expected. We wanted a person that had great respect for people, and he has shown that in just 5 short months of work. We wanted somebody who understood the politics of a city without being political, and he has proven himself in that way as well. We also wanted someone who was even-handed and a first-rate communicator, and he has shown that in spades. We hired the best person we could find, and we got a gem in Scott Neal, and welcome to the city of Edina. Now, I was sitting with my program. We got 24 different organizations, and I was thinking about the connectivity and how all these organizations kind of are the fabric that makes Edina work. I come in the front door, and Marty from the Lions Club says, "Hey, you owe Hal $10. Kathy gets up here, and I think, oh, I got to go over to the garden sale, and there goes some of that mayor's salary. You just see one group after another come up, and there's this tremendous connectivity. Highway cleanup is tomorrow. I'll be there with my crew from the Edina Morningside Rotary. The Community Foundation, Dick got up here and talked about all the organizations. I'm on the board there. I want to go on that wildflower visitation on Sunday the 8th, so I wrote that down. It's just a fantastic community, and the pace that we're all moving at is just tremendous because everybody's working on something. Yesterday we were with the Chamber for State of the Community, Scott, myself, Rick Dressen. Last night, was that bullying last night? Night before last, excuse me. We had the reflections on bullying. Tuesday, we had I helped the feds kick off their district meeting. So there's just so much going on in our community. I'm so proud to be part of it. We always have some awards that we do every year, and I'm going to talk about some of those commendations. I'm going to ask the city council members that are here to come up with me and help me give out these awards. And the first award is going to go to the Edina Federated Women's Club, and I'm going to ask Jane Twyman to come back up, Sandy Phillips to come up as well, Joni Bennett and Josh, who was just up here, coming back up. Mary had to leave. She had a rehearsal that she had to get to down at the Bloomington Arts Center. And Ann couldn't be here. I don't know if you knew that Ann had knee replacement surgery, so she's still wrestling with that a little bit. I think this would have been a tough climb for her. Well, let me talk a little bit about the Edina Federated Women's Club. The Women's Club has made this a year of multiple special projects to be accomplished in place of their usual philanthropic fundraiser, Feds Fest. Generous support has been provided to organizations that serve women and children who are experiencing domestic violence. The club's mission during the 2010-2011 year period is to complete several service projects, especially in support of Cornerstone and VEEP, organizations that provide food, shelter, and clothing for women and their children who are experiencing domestic violence. In October, the club had a project for collection of pajamas, collecting 98 pair as well as 75 Beanie Babies that were donated to Cornerstone. In December, a Christmas collection of 66 gift cards and checks totaling $2,000 were also given to Cornerstone to support the men and women, or the women and children in the program. In March, club members collected and donated $1,050 to VEEP for their use in purchasing canned goods for the food shelves. In April, a Kentucky Fried Chicken dinner was held for 40 mothers and their children at Cornerstone, served by members of the Federated Women's Club. The dinner was a big hit with the families, and they requested it be a yearly event. Also in April, the club collected $1,400 to purchase personal items to make boxes for shipments to military personnel in Afghanistan. The Edina Federated Women's Club, year after year, demonstrates through its committed membership its extraordinary generosity to community. Please join me in recognizing the Edina Federated Women's Club for their outstanding contribution to our community. And there's two of these, one for each of them. Take a look. Sandy, I'll hand that one to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go, Jane.
Okay, thank you.
Here's one more. There you go.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What an honor. As Mayor Hovland said, in September we decided that this was going to be truly a year of service. We were not going to think about ourselves and all the fun that we could have and all the money we could raise to have more fun, but still give to the community. So this year we concentrated just on community service, and we will continue to do that. I could not have done it without Sandy. She takes all the credit, and I would like Sandy to come up here and say a few words too. Thank you so much.
Good evening. I was proud to serve Edina Federated Women's Club this year as the Service Project Coordinator. What a pleasure to work with these 100 women. Some of the monetary figures that Jim mentioned actually are a little bit higher than that, and I would say that our total this year, this is individual member contributions, is almost $8,000 to support these projects. And I think that is truly remarkable from this group of 100 women. And this represents just a lot of hard work, but we've enjoyed doing it. Next week, we're going to fill 30 troop boxes, which will be shipped overseas. Again, we're buying all of this with money that our Feds members have donated, and Target gives us a 10% discount. And one thing that I think is very special is that I asked Cornelius school children if they would write individual letters to a service person. And I picked up the letters yesterday, looked over them, and they're thanking these members of the troops for protecting our country. They're really very, very touching. And we fold those and put them in the bottom of the box along with a prepaid $10 gift card, phone card, which I understand is a very wanted item, along with sunblock, etc. But these letters, I think, are so special. Last year when we did this project, a woman who's a lieutenant in Afghanistan or Iraq, I'm not sure which, actually went on the computer and she found the Edina website and she got the address of the city of Edina, and she sent a letter to the Edina Federated Women's Club in care of City Hall. They called Jane. She went and picked up the letter. We actually had a thank you letter from someone who had received the box, so we knew that our boxes got there. Now, talk about touching people in the community and outside the community and abroad, and I think that that is very, very special. And that's what we've tried to do all year, is to touch many hearts in our community and abroad. So thank you very much, and we appreciate our community so much, and we want to continue serving here in Edina. Thank you. Oh, my goodness.
There's a mayor's individual service commendation that gets awarded annually to an individual for outstanding and exceptional volunteer service to the community at large. I'm going to ask Paul Moody to come up here and stand next to me while I talk him up a bit. Paul, as probably many of you know, is a lifelong Edina resident and a graduate of Edina East High School. Paul has given back to the community as a professional, as a neighbor, and as a parent. A longtime member of the Rotary Club of Edina, Paul served on the club's board of directors from 2004 until 2010. He was president in the 2008-2009 Rotary year. As past president, he helped raise approximately $30,000 in October 2010 to pay for 6-year-old Moses Mwara's education in Nairobi, Kenya. Last spring, the Rotary Club of Edina brought Moses to Minnesota from Africa. You may all remember that article that was in the paper, and maybe some of you met Moses while he was here. They brought him here to have his crossed eyes surgically repaired, and also to get some repair on his damaged teeth. And I can tell you from knowing Angela Wandera, who is an Eden Prairie dentist that was with me in Nairobi a couple of years ago, she said he had a cavity in every tooth in his head. So it was a long afternoon for Moses and a long afternoon for Angela as she did that work. Until this life-changing experience, Moses had lived in the slums of Nairobi. Paul also led a 2-year effort to plan Rotary International District's 5950's 2010 conference held at the Weston Galleria, Edina. Paul is a current member of the Edina Community Foundation Board of Directors and past member of the Transportation Commission for the City of Edina. He recently completed a 1-year appointment as an executive in residence at the Center for Integrative Leadership at the University of Minnesota through the Carlson School of Management and the Humphrey Institute of Public Affairs. There, he wrote a case study on the integrative leadership aspects of Rotary's role in polio eradication, which was later used in a graduate class on leadership. A lawyer by training, Paul is currently the president of CDSI Holdings, Inc., an entity that owns real estate and a 50% interest in the construction business that coincidentally did all the specialty concrete paving work at City Hall and also all the concrete paving at Target Field. And I can assure you he got it on an RFP basis. No favoritism for the local person. He actively manages a number of personal and family business interests, including farming operations in both Minnesota and Iowa. He serves on the board of directors of a number of privately held businesses. Paul has been active in local politics, serving as campaign treasurer for candidates seeking state and local offices. He is also involved with a neighborhood group, Unite Edina 273, that is seeking to get into the Edina School District. Their area of Edina, the Parkwood Knolls area, is in the Hopkins School District, as many of you know. In his younger days, Paul coached youth soccer for many years. Paul has been married to his wife, Jean, for 25 years. They have 3 kids, Melissa, 24, Michael, 20, and Allie, 15. Please join me in congratulating Paul Moody for his exceptional volunteer service to the City of Edina.
Well, as I've sat here all evening and listened to all of the awards given to all of you for the work you've done, it's very humbling here for me to receive this award, and I thank you and I congratulate all of you for the great things you do for this great community of ours. And I'd also like to recognize and thank the mayor and the council for the great service that they provide. We don't recognize them as often as we should, and I thank them for all they do. Thank you.
Well, Shirley Johnson, are you ready to come back up? Every year we give a Mayor's Outstanding Senior Commendation, and Shirley Johnson, who was also recognized by Fairview Southdale, is going to be recognized by the city as well for all of her years of volunteer service. And as Shirley is working her way up here with Rob Gruen from the Fairview Southdale Hospital organization, I will start reading about Shirley. As you all know, she's been an active volunteer at Fairview Southdale since, I think they said 1968. My notes show 1969. I'm giving you that 1 year benefit of the doubt, Shirley. We're going to say 1968. 42 years of service. She was at the hospital almost from the time it opened in the 1960s, and you could say that she literally grew up with Fairview Southdale. Shirley volunteers weekly at the hospital's information desk, where she greets patients and visitors, answers the patient information phone line, and directs people to their destinations. Over the course of time, the main entrance to the hospital has been transformed into 4 entrances with information stations at each entrance. In addition to her experience at the information desk, Shirley also volunteers her time assisting with special hospital projects that benefit the entire community, such as flu shot registration, fundraisers for the American Heart Association, and American Cancer Society, and holiday decorating. With the growth of the hospital and the surrounding medical buildings, Shirley has had to continually learn new processes, locations, and all types of information due to the variety of questions that the public asks on a regular basis. Shirley is blessed with keen insight and has served as a valuable asset in the training of many volunteers over the years. It is indeed a rare gift to have a volunteer stay active in and loyal to an organization for such a length of time. Shirley Johnson is this rare gift to Fairview Southdale Hospital and to our entire community. Shirley and her husband Gene will be married 60 years this June. Their 5 children all reside in Edina, and a few of them are here this evening, and thanks for coming. Please join me in congratulating Shirley Johnson for her outstanding volunteer service in our community.
I am truly honored and humbly accept this award. Thank you very much.
We've also got some youth commendations to award. Apeksha Edina. Apeksha, do you want to come back up? Here you are. And let's get JD up here again as well. Apeksha Gunawardena is a high school junior at Blake. I think you heard before that she was a junior. You didn't hear where she was going to school. Who has volunteered a significant amount of time in service at Fairview Southdale Hospital as a junior volunteer. In this role, she has been active in the STEP Force program since the spring of 2009. At the hospital, STEP Force volunteers transport and discharge patients, many of whom are anxious and nervous. Apeksha is perfect in her role as she is friendly, helpful, and confident, and she is able to put patients at ease as they prepare to leave the hospital environment. Apeksha is one of the older volunteers at the hospital and is a great role model to younger and newer junior volunteers. She is punctual, reliable, and always willing to try new assignments and learn new things. In 2010, Apeksha gave over 254 hours of her time, which is actually more than one shift per week. This is an amazing level of dedication, considering that she is a student and involved in a number of activities, such as SIAC, a leadership council that assists freshmen in high school in getting acclimated to the high school environment, and is also a member of the school diversity group called Cornerstone. In the midst of her numerous activities, she continues to be a serious student and is a member of the National Arts Honor Society. Apeksha's service hours in 2010 far exceed all other junior volunteers at the hospital. Fairview Southdale is grateful for her caring spirit, which is a benefit to all of the patients, family, and staff with whom she interacts. Please join me in congratulating Apeksha for her commitment to improving the quality of life in Edina.
I would just like to thank Pamela, Amy, and Mary who gave me the opportunity to volunteer at Fairview. My experience there has truly taught me compassion and humility, and for that I'm grateful.
J.D. Loyal is an Edina High School sophomore and is a charter member, as you heard earlier, of the Communications Explorers Post 3411. The post was chartered in the fall of 2010 and meets monthly, alternating between field trips and formal meetings with a speaker from the communications industry. Post members are given opportunities for hands-on participation in activities and projects of the City of Edina's Communications and Marketing Department. As a member of the Post, JD has had perfect attendance, not even missing a winter break scheduled field trip to the Star Tribune Heritage Center. In addition to the regular activities of the Post, JD has provided office assistance to the Communications and Marketing Department, reviewed content on the City of Edina's website, helped produce a broadcast of the Edina City Council, and assisted with the taping of Edina's monthly newscast, Agenda Edina. JD also volunteered for a community event, the Pumpkin Festival, organized by the 50th and France Business Association, for area children to celebrate Halloween. JD and another member of the Post led a children's game the entire morning of the event. The Post is very fortunate to have strong youth leadership within the community, and it is grateful for the exceptional commitment demonstrated by J.D. Loyal. Please join me in recognizing J.D. for his commitment to improving quality of life in Edina.
I would just like to thank Jennifer from the Edina Communications for helping me out with this, and I would also like to thank my mother for getting me there because I have no way of driving yet.
The next Mayor's Award is the Connecting with Kids Commendation. And this year we're giving it to Communications Explorers Post 3411. You saw, and you've met many of you, Jennifer Benarott, our Director of City Communications and Marketing Department. We also have Scott Denfield, our Cable Coordinator here. Kaylin Martin, I didn't see Kaylin here, who is the Communications Assistant and Crime Prevention Specialist. The Communication Explorers Post 3411, having been chartered in the fall of 2010, is for young people ages 15 to 20 who are interested in pursuing a career in the communications field. Exploring is a national program of learning for life, and its purpose is to provide experiences to help young people mature and to prepare them to become responsible and caring adults. Organizations that sponsor Explorers Posts match their people and program resources to the interests of young people in the community. The result is a program of activities that helps youth pursue their special interest, grow, and develop. Exploring programs are based on 5 areas of emphasis: career opportunities, life skills, citizenship, character education, and leadership experience. Members are high school students from Edina, St. Louis Park, Benilde St. Margaret, and Totino Grace. The Post meets once a month. Come on up, you guys. The Post meets once a month with activities alternating between field trips and speakers from the communications industry. High-profile speakers have included Tom Butler from Fox 9, Trey Barber from KS95. Field trips have been scheduled for the Star Tribune Heritage Center and WCCO-TV. Members of the Post are given opportunities to participate in projects of the city's communications and marketing department, such as writing, photography, graphic design, website maintenance, and video production. Whenever possible, members are encouraged to volunteer in community events as well, such as the 50th and France Business Professional Association's Pumpkin Festival. The Communications Explorers Post 3411 is giving high school students a chance to learn and grow, and this is being demonstrated by the strong youth leadership of its members within the community. Please join me in recognizing Communication Explorers Post 3411 for making such a positive impact on the lives of youth in Edina.
Well, we're really excited to receive this. Thank you, Mayor Hovland, and thank you, the council. And thank you to our explorers. We wouldn't have the post without them. And Jennifer, I'd like to give a big thanks to her, too. She organizes all of the meetings, and she's been a mentor to me, and I'm happy that I can be a mentor to these kids. Thank you for your hard work, explorers, and for making the program so fun.
Come on up, Brian. Well, every year we give an award to a city employee who has just been engaged in exemplary service, and Brian Hubbard, an Edina police officer, has just done an incredible job in serving his community, not only as a police officer, but above and beyond the call of duty as an officer. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things that he's been involved in. Brian's been with the Edina Police Department only since January of 2007, but in this relatively short period of time, he has already made an extraordinary impact on the community. Brian dedicated personal time to speak at the Edina Community Foundation's Martin Luther King Day celebration. This allowed him the opportunity to share stories through the eyes of an African-American police officer. Officer Hubbard organized the Wills for Heroes event at the police department. This provided officers and their spouses the chance to have their wills drafted for free through volunteer attorneys. Brian helped structure and participated in the Edina Youth Distracted Driving campaign, which involved meeting with high school students, giving out coupons at the high school for good driving, providing teachers with T-shirts, conducting an enforcement phase at the high school, and holding an information night with MAD and the State Patrol, which included showing a video, hearing from the father of a victim, and providing an open forum. As part of Brian's job as a police officer, he hosts a show called Beyond the Badge, which is an Edina City production that highlights the Edina Police Department. However, in this role, Brian goes beyond expectations by giving an enormous amount of volunteer time to make the production successful. Officer Hubbard was this year the first runner-up for Officer of the Year, which is awarded by the Hennepin County Chiefs of Police Association in April of each year. He was also nominated for the MAD Traffic Safety Officer of the Year award in March. Brian volunteers in the law enforcement polar bear plunge each winter for the Minnesota Special Olympics with a team of Edina police officers. Their team, the Spider Pigs, and maybe he can explain the origin of the name, was the top law enforcement fundraiser at this event. Brian is also well known in the community for coordinating the Edina Police Department's Citizens Academy. It is an exciting 11-week program which gives participants an informative, interactive look behind the scenes of the department. Attendees will make mock traffic stops, tour the Hennepin County Jail, learn defensive tactics, follow the course of a criminal investigation, and process a crime scene. Because of Officer Hubbard's generosity and heart for service, citizens can take advantage of this awesome opportunity to witness how law enforcement carries out its daily mission to protect and serve. Please join me in recognizing Brian Hubbard for his outstanding volunteer service to the community of Edina.
Well, thank you, Mayor, Council. My comments will be brief. I'm one of 65 employees of the police department and hundreds of employees of the city who I think I can speak collectively consider it an honor to come to work every day and serve such a fine community. So I appreciate being able to represent that group. Thank you.
If you take a look at the back of the program, I was really pleased when I was searching for some words that were appropriate for the program to find this quote from Carl Sandburg, that time is the currency of life, be careful how you use it. It caused me to think about the tremendous volunteers we have in our community in a different way, not only as great volunteers, but great philanthropists. And I appreciate, and the council appreciates, and our community appreciates so much the giving that you do of your time, which is the currency of life. So once again, thanks for coming out this year. Thanks for supporting the people in your organizations that make them so successful. And we look forward to seeing all of you back again next year for another round of awards to the volunteers that make our community such a great place to live. Thank you very much.